Good morning. After a 2-week trip, I'm back at the screens here, and here we are looking at some volume reversals and a whole bunch of stocks this past week, both positive and negative, here on Tradestation. First, you're looking at the vrtrader.com homepage. We do offer the Vice News Raw and the Gold News Raw report free, no credit card required, so you might want to sign up for those and learn more about our other services when you have a chance. As a reminder, I do host the Wall Street War radio program on the Genesis Communication Network Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern. That's gcnlive.com. That's gcnlive.com. Here at Tradestation, we do offer the Leibovit volume reversal toolkit with several versions of the volume reversal. A 1-month free trial is offered. We offer the directional, sequential, and 2-day is all part of the same package. I use the sequential on these videos, which post all positive and negative VRs. Essentially, the directional filters out repetitive VRs, and the 2-day, as I mentioned in previous videos, is based on the assumption that following a positive and negative volume reversal, we tend to get movement in that direction for a couple of trading days. Jumping to the screens here, this is what I look at every day. We've got the sequential here, we've got the directional here, we've got the 2-day here, and then we've got the radar screen where you can add any stocks that you choose. I add many of the indexes, and as negative and positive VRs are formed, they're flashed on the screen. So this is a big help during the day when they form, and then you get a little signal on the screen that tells you that a VR is forming. But again, very useful. Let's jump into some of the examples. We have quite a few this week. Let's look at Apple. Nice positive volume reversal that came in earlier in the week. Let's put up the data window so we have the exact range and date and so forth. So this occurred on the 20th, which was Tuesday. We had a rising stochastic. So as you can see, a nice trade to the upside in Apple following the most recent signal, which was a positive volume reversal. Moving on, let's look at Google. And the bell just went off because a positive VR was the most recent signal there. A little box came up, so that's cool. Meanwhile, there was a trade prior to that, negative VR, declining stochastic, so there was a day or two trade there, and a positive VR came in here on the 22nd, which is Thursday. Somebody knew or anticipated a strong showing for Google, which, as you know, exploded to the upside on Friday. So nice play there, and showing the VR in action. Let's look at Microsoft. Okay, well, Microsoft gave us a signal earlier in the week. This was on the actually on Friday of the week prior, on the 16th, and as you can see, it trended higher during the week, and we had a rising stochastic. So even if you got out of this a day or two later, there's still a small trade to the upside, as it did push a little bit higher. But of course, the big play came on Friday. If you had stayed with the trade, and this is a sign of how we show accumulation patterns in a stock. Goes way back here. You can see accumulation in Microsoft back at the end of September as well. So there was a nice 2-3 day trade there. And if you had gone short on this negative VR, and you might have, because we had a declining 533, you would have covered and or reversed at this point. That's how I play the game. Here, positive VR occurred, but we had a declining stochastic, so I would not have taken that particular trade. So give you a little background on how I use them. Let's look at a couple negatives here, which also came in during the week. This is IBM. Negative volume reversal coming in on the 19th, which was Monday, and if you had jumped in on that VR, and particularly if you had been long the day prior, you would want to get out or reverse your position. There was a nice trade to the downside, but prior we had other plays. The VR at work here, nice correlation with the VR. You can see here in other examples, but here's a VR that occurred on the 5th of October. You had a rising stochastic, and there was a nice little play to the upside in IBM, even though it did turn down later. Let's finally look at Tesla, which has been in a negative pattern here basically since the end of September, but you can see the negative VR and the downtrending stochastic pretty much confirming the downtrend each time it occurred. And if you'd taken a day or two trade each time that happened, that would have been fine. You don't have to stay with it 4 or 5 days, but the signals were valid and they did confirm. And the most recent one, of course, occurred on that big down day on the 20th. That was on Tuesday. Meanwhile, that pretty much summarizes sort of the big names this week that I want to bring to your attention. So a lot going on this week. Of course, this is not a total reflection of everything, but using the volume reversal, I think could be a great benefit to you. It's what I've been using for 35 years, and gives me a great sense of where volume and where insider action is occurring. So appreciate you checking the video, and we'll catch you on our next update.